Hey folks, a few days ago I was supposed to play my regular last Friday of the month live stream. But after the tragic mass shooting in Boulder, which happened 1 week ago today, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't bear to play my silly little songs, try to make witty banter, ask for tips, and pretend that our country didn't just experience 2 mass shootings within a week of each other. My brother, who's a journalist in Atlanta, had to cover those murders. And while I personally did not lose anybody in Boulder, an acquaintance of mine did. And another friend's stepmom had a store right next to that King Super. She had to shelter in place the entire time. We only live a few miles from Columbine High School. 20 years ago, when I was in college on the East Coast, that tragedy occurred. But every time I see the city of Littleton on a street sign or a banner, I'm reminded. Needless to say, it's too much for me, and it's too much for all of us, no matter how much we've grown numb. We need to change a lot so that we don't fear for our lives as we go about living our lives. But we also need a little bit of catharsis as well. Today I'd like to dedicate a song to the victims of the Boulder shooting. I'll post some Colorado-based charities that are raising money to support the victims and the families of the victims. Please donate, then march, then vote, and never stop pleading for change. No one is safe until we are all safe. You said hello with no quiver in your voice, and if there was, I couldn't tell. Although you sounded a bit too overjoyed, I heard no warning bell. When the weight becomes too heavy and you hit the time you fell, it don't matter how you stood, it don't mean you're looking good, just because you wore it well. Should have hugged you a little harder, I should have walked you to your door. Now I'll have to walk much farther. If I'd only known the time before, if I'd only known the time before. The world outside, it grows angrier each day. It took too long for us to see, and it'll take longer before we ever tame the beast inside of you and me. Can't forget about tomorrow, even if we've lost the midday sun. I'm going out to look for you, I just hope you're looking too. The cloud has shadowed everyone. Should have hugged you a little harder, I should have walked you to your door. Now I'll have to walk much farther. If I'd only known the time before, if I'd only known the time before, I would have tried to soak you up like water to a soul that's dry. And there's a truth that we're never told. When you feel what the future holds, your silver turns to gold. I should have hugged you a little harder, and I should have walked you to your door. Now I'll have to walk much farther. If I'd only known the time before, I should have hugged you a little harder. I should have hugged you a little harder. I should have hugged you a little harder. If I'd only known the time before. If I'd only known the time before.